I'll go next. My topic is also controversial from this past week. Comixology. An app to read comics. Colin, don't fall asleep yet. I'm getting to the part you'll care about. I've been a big supporter of Comixology. It was something I'd been calling for a long time. It's the reason I bought my iPad. To read comics digitally, not to have to collect comics. To be happy reading them digitally, spending way too much money on comics. Tim, you do this as well. Nick, you've just begun.
I have. I've just ventured into that.
They got bought by Amazon not too long ago. Last month. Big news. Oh, cool. They got bought by Amazon. Everybody's like, Amazon's going to ruin them. And we're all like, nah, it'll be fine. They release they close their old app.
Yeah, it's not even an update, by the way.
No, it's not even an update. They close their old app, create a new app you have to go into and log into. And the big thing is that there is no store anymore inside it on the digital iOS front or the Android front for that part. You have to go to the Comixology website, which has always exists, where you could read comics online as well. But now you have to go there, buy your comics on the web, and then they'll appear in your reader. You have to go download them in your reader.
Kindle.
Yes, which Kindle used to be able to buy books in as well. Your Kindle app on your iPad used to be able to buy your books. Then
when was that? That was
when it first started.
Time ago.
Yeah, exactly. But
I've never had that.
Because this is so this happens. People flip the fuck out. Saturday I woke up and the Twitter was aflame with people freaking out. This is the worst thing ever. They've ruined Comixology. They've ruined this. And my initial reaction was, yeah, this sucks. It's a hurdle, right? The fact that I'm reading comics and I want to read the next comic, but I have to go to the website or whatever, blah, blah, blah. But then you think about it, and really it's just the, screw job, no offense, or not even the screw job, but like how the in-app purchases work. That 30% of an in-app purchase needs to go to Apple, right? So for Amazon to come in, sell things through Kindle, sell things through Comixology now, it makes sense for them to force you to this. And at first, again, yeah, like I get the knee-jerk reaction of, but I won't be able to, the guy who wrote Punisher and did all this stuff, created Punisher, he's had like a long but a long thesis on why this is horrible, right? And all these reasons. And we'll get to them. But when I stopped to actually think about it, my iPad is Wi-Fi only, not 3G. So anytime I'm around reading comics, I'm usually on computers within arm's reach, right? When new comics come out on Wednesday, I just have to change my mindset of, well, I'll get them when I get home to, I'll check it out on a lunch break and see what I want to buy this week and click, click, click and be done. Also, Comixology a few months ago, before the Amazon acquisition, introduced subscriptions where I love Invincible and I love Walking Dead and I love a bunch of other series. So I just click a button and I'm subscribed now. So I auto buy those every time they come out, every Wednesday that they come out of the month. So for me, not that much changes. At first, sounds horrible. Whatever. For me personally, not that much changes, but I know other people are freaking out. Are either of you freaking out?
So that makes a lot of sense now because I thought I was going crazy because I opened up my Comixology app a couple days ago and it told me to download the other one. I was like, that's weird. It's not an update. Normally it's just an update. Yeah. So now I've got 2 Comixology apps on my phone and I just finished Invincible 107 and I was like, okay, I have to know what happens next. I'm going to buy, I'm just going to really quickly, it's linked to my iTunes account. Just going to buy 8, 9, and 10, right? And I could not figure out why it would not let me purchase. And I logged in online, started a Comixology account. It doesn't ask me for any credit card information, and I gave up. I was like, I give up. This is too much work to get 3 comic books where it shouldn't be that hard, right? And I think it's actually worth the 30% for the ease of use. That, by the way, when they had a sale, I dropped $40 on comic books. Sure. I bought like 40 issues. I just marathon through these things. Why? Because you don't stop to think.
Right.
You just go,
I've done that too.
Oh, well, I got to get the next one. Oh, I got to. And the only thing that stopped me was that I was literally falling asleep, and I'm like, okay, I'll table this until tomorrow. So I think it's going to hurt their business considerably in the short term. I'm sure Amazon has a plan. Because if there's one company that can go out there and actually take on Apple, it's Amazon.
Right.
They're crushing.
Well, they've already been doing it with Kindle. I mean, this isn't like something crazy. This is what you're talking about earlier.
Yeah, right? I mean, I've had the Kindle app on my iPad since 2009, and I've never had it any other way than me having to go to a site, one-click order, send it to Andrew Jackson. That's the name of my iPad. And then
I love it. I love it.
And then it loads up.
I think my wife has a Kindle Fire, and I think she can just buy stuff directly from her Kindle.
Well, you can do that.
But I think you have to have an Amazon account.
But we're talking about the app. The Kindle app.
Yeah, like I have my Kindle.
Your
Kindle
iPad.
app is the same thing because it's run by Amazon.
Got it.
Yeah, I mean, to me, so I'm not a comic reader, whatever. I didn't even know Comixology was purchased by anyone. 2 things strike me as interesting. First is that Amazon and Google are the 2 companies in the world that no one will ever admit does anything wrong because everyone's obsessed with them. So it's interesting to see, Google does stupid shit all the time. No one will ever say a word about it. It was interesting for me to see people get mad at Amazon because I've never seen that before. Like everyone loves Amazon. When Amazon Prime went up, everyone's like,
it's the perfect
it's
thing.
great.
Yeah.
Who cares? Which I agree because Amazon Prime's awesome. So that was the first thing that struck me. I'm like, wow, people are being critical of Amazon. This is a new frontier here on the internet. The second thing I was thinking was, this makes perfect sense. Why the fuck would Amazon want to give 30% of their revenue from a thing they probably spent tens of millions of dollars on when they can just cut them out completely? That makes perfect sense to me.
I want to point out that on the Android app, you can still pay through the reader with PayPal. Yeah, PayPal only. But jumping back to what I was saying earlier, it's Jerry Conway. Thanks for reloading that while I was reading it. Co-creator of The Punisher. He had this whole thing put up about how, and the first line is, and so, as we could have predicted, Amazon wrecks Comixology. And it's this whole thing. And what he brings up is interesting too. The fact that he loves comic shops, but they're dying, right? And that Comixology was the perfect portal to get people into comics, making split-second purchase. What you're talking about. Yeah, I'll buy another one. Yeah, I'll buy another one. Yeah, I'll buy another one. I still think that exists. I don't think we're giving readers enough credit. Granted, it's another step to jump through, but I still think it is.
It's not another step to jump through. It's like 3 steps to jump through.
No, it's because you're stupid and don't remember your password for Comixology. All you had to do on your new reader was log in with your username and your password, and you were set to go. You have a Comixology account.
But how does it download to your phone? Through the actual app still?
It just syncs.
It syncs. It's just like Kindle.
I don't know. Does it do that actually?
No, but you have to sync it to your laptop, right?
Well, when you buy a comic on Comixology on the computer, I point because there's a computer over there.
Right.
You
guys
log
have never
in,
seen the other wall.
I log in as Greg Miller, right? And then I buy my comics, and then they are on my account.
Right.
So then when I come to my computer, now you're
right.
I
got you. Okay.
You're pointing out a step. Correct. There is the thing here of where there's on device and then in the cloud.
Got it.
So I haven't fooled around enough with the app yet because it's new to me. But like every comic I've ever purchased from Comixology is here, and I can just go and download them. And I can just click that one and download my last 120 books.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, that is an extra step.
Yeah, and it's annoying. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is something we face in our day jobs when we're talking about video game companies and people freak out that Sony's charging this or Xbox is changing that or whatever. We're so quick to overlook the hard facts of being a business, right? Like businesses exist to make money and get you the services you need, right? And like Amazon, I'm sure, they are a smart company, right? They must have weighed options of this 30% is costing us X millions of dollars. If we lose this, if we change it, we're gonna lose. Probably estimate this percent, but this percent will come back, and it's like it's got to work out.
Yeah, they did a cost benefit analysis on that, and they were like, we're losing $40 million a year, say, just to Apple. Yeah, if we do this, we'll lose $20 million. So we make $20 million.
But that's the thing is like. It's not even, I don't think it's even a traditional cost benefit analysis being like, we're losing money. It's being like, we're not getting money that our direct competitor, that our job is to put out of business, because that's what Amazon wants to do to Apple. Everything they're doing and everything they have going on is to fucking compete with Apple. Everything,
It's smart.
From their devices to, the Amazon box and the store and everything. Everything. They want Apple. They want them. And so it's not even about them losing money to a third party of some sort. It's losing money to the company that they fucking hate.
It's true.
And so that they buy things like Comixology just like they made the deal with HBO to fuck their competitors. Like the HBO Go deal or the HBO deal on Amazon Prime fucks Netflix. Well, this deal fucks Apple. And that's when you have a lot of money, you throw it around and God,
I want to get there. I want to get there one day.
This really sucks for users, because whenever a feature is taken away from them, whether or not they actually use it, I don't buy comics from the iPad. That's not something I would ever do. I don't really care.
Historically, I do when I have one-offs, but it's never. And I understand that. I think maybe we're in a privileged group, right? And I'm sorry to cut you off. Sorry to be a Nick Scarpino to you.
Go.
That's what people say in the comments. They don't like you.
They said that in the comments of one video, and
we highlighted it and framed it off camera.
I've been better.
For me personally, it's my friend says this comic is great, and I'm like, okay, great. I trust their opinion. I sit down and I usually off a computer buy 10 and then go. So it'll be annoying when I finish those 10. And I'm like, I want to read the next one. I gotta go to my computer. It's all the way over there. You know what I mean? When I fly somewhere, I load I make sure I'm loaded up on comics and go. But it's
I mean, for me, the thing that draws me to comics is not necessarily art; it's the storytelling, right? It's the fact that you can get lost in a really fleshed out world that can be fleshed out over the span of hundreds of issues potentially. And so when I get in that mindset where I'm vibing and the story's really resonating with me, there's an addictive quality to it that I want to stay there in that mindset for as long as humanly possible, right? And that's when I start marathoning through these things. And I think from a business standpoint, I think you'd want to keep your customer in that mindset as much as possible, because literally, like I said, I bought a bunch of Invincibles when they were on sale. Well, guess what? I also bought a bunch of them when they weren't on sale because I needed to know what happened. And now those were like the 5 issues or the 8 issues that I bought that's expensive.
Yeah.
You know?
But I mean, if you're still addicted to it, are you not going to just go to the website and then buy them later anyways?
Probably. But it's one more. It's you know, like we all work on a website, right? And there's a good rule of thumb, which is like, don't put any barriers between, put as few barriers between the consumer and the content as humanly possible, right? And like that's why we don't want to route people through to like 30 different things to find this show, right? We want them to come to one place and find it, and we want
GameOverGreggy.com,
right? And we want them to watch as much of it as humanly possible, without having to stop and like, you know, like if people had to download this and it took you 20 minutes to download, like people would probably be less into it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think ultimately, like I'm saying, it's a smart business move for them, because ultimately I think they probably have something more in store for us than this
well,
process.
I mean, that's the thing. Like I feel like this is going to end up being good at the end. Like it sucks that a feature's getting taken away, but obviously Amazon's now going to focus on comics a bit more, promote them,
which is cool,
more.
yeah.
And it's like, to me, the App Store thing, it's more about discoverability than it is about like being able to purchase it right there. It's being able to look at like, oh, what is hot right now, what's going on, and all this stuff.
Sure.
It's like, oh, I want to.
And you get the free,
out.
like
but that's
you get
what,
the free first issues of everything too, so you can read stuff oftentimes with it.
Yeah,
which I think is
but
pretty
I mean,
cool.
you can still do that on the website, you know, and like with
you
Amazon,
can still do it on the app too. I think you can still read it if it's free. I think you can read it right there.
Oh, cool. Well.
This doesn't seem like that big of a deal, right? Like, Amazon's already the master of one-click shopping. Like, they've always been better than iTunes. iTunes has always been this cumbersome garbage. I fucking hate using it. And, you know, Amazon has always been like, sign in, we remember you, we're not fucking crazy. Like, like you could find. Like I buy like the analog to me is I buy a ton of books, right? Like on Kindle, and I have to go on my computer. Sometimes I go on my iPad, just go to the browser and buy them. And it's so easy. It's like almost too easy. Like sometimes I'll wake up, you know, I'll be up late and I want to read.
There's a beer next to you and there's 40 new books.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, oh my god! I'll wake up like, you know, because I like to. I like start reading something really interesting, and then I go look for books on it, and I'll just buy them. Or I'm like, this is almost too easy. Yeah. You know, like.
Let's see.
So it's the same thing. Maybe they're doing. You know, you say it's a bad for the user. Maybe it's good for the user. Maybe it's going to be like, why don't you think twice before buying, you know, $50 worth of comics today?
See, I don't. Think
not that I'm sure that's what they want, but it might be the kind of
that. Well, see, here's my thing. I'll support this if it eventually leads to some sort of subscription. Like you're talking about subscriptions, but you don't mean it in the same sense of Netflix. Like, when are they going to do? And now Amazon has the capability of doing this because they've got the power behind. You know, they're a huge corporation. When are they going to do the $10 unlimited comics per month subscription model?
Marvel does that.
Yeah,
do they?
Marvel does it for,
but it's like older stuff, and then after
stuff.
a month or 2 months, it pops up. Not a Marvel guy, sorry, DC.
Yeah, and the problem with that though is, I mean, you know, there are so many comics that come out every.
Sure, but here's what I'm saying. Like, I know there are only so many, right? That's not like. I mean, are you saying there's
no,
too few or too?
I think there's too many to be able to offer that at a competitive price that makes sense.
Yeah, but what if I don't?
When it comes to like these TV shows and stuff, like you're not getting the newest stuff always.
Sometimes you are.
I mean, like with what?
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you'll get that
WWE
season like, right
Network.
when it's over. Well, that's what
I'm
I'm
not
saying.
kidding.
Like,
No,
PlayStation
that makes
Plus.
sense, but
that's what I'm saying. Like, well, with Hulu, you can get stuff that's there, but that's not a subscription model. I see what you're saying. What I'm saying is like they give you, you have to limit it. Like Netflix is limited. You're not getting anything really that good except for an occasional cartoon that I think is amazing, like Ultimate Spider-Man,
Young Justice.
but you don't get the newest Ultimate Spider-Man.
Sure, but I wouldn't care about that, right? Because
so Marvel does it now then.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But Netflix isn't just studio specific, right? So Netflix puts everything on their platform that they can get their hands on, right? Similar to Spotify. I'm thinking more like Spotify, right? Where Spotify is a third party company that can get any song from any label, right? When can Comixology become that thing? Because that's what I would pay $10 a month for, which is I would pay $10 a month to be able to read any DC, any Marvel, any Image comic that I wanted beyond a certain point, right? Like, or before a certain point. I think that'd be freaking awesome. Because I'd love to go back and reread like all the old DC comic books, like all the old like Frank Miller stuff, anything that he did. And I'd pay $10 a month for that, and I totally forget that I was paying $10 a month.
Going back to that, that's why I think this is also not that big of a deal. I mean, I think it is a huge deal, and it's like it does suck that something's being taken away. But the way that, like me specifically, when I buy comics, like either a friend recommends it to me, or I go to like IGN and see like what they're talking about. And then a lot of research. You just go to Wikipedia and just kind of read, and you're like, oh, I'm interested in that.
Right.
And I'm never going to buy one issue. You're right. You buy 10. Someone recommends you something. You're going to get at least enough of them, at least 6.
Yeah.
To be like, am I into this or not? And you buy them at once. I'm not gonna buy just issue 7, and then maybe issue 8, and then maybe issue 9. What? No, I'm gonna buy the next 10. You know, like to prepare for the airplane or to prepare for whatever. It's like,
so far my biggest complaint with it, right, is that now that there's a new app, my library isn't there, so I have to re-download everything, which sucks because I had so many books in there. I know that some of them weren't read, so I don't want to just do like the blind download everything, because then I'll just have a million books that are gonna say new, I imagine. But whatever. Back to Jerry over here. He ends his article like this. There is no upside to this development, people. There are no positives. Yes, I know. Now Apple can't prevent sex criminals from appearing in Comixology in-store or in-app storefront because there is no in-app storefront. This is progress. I'm outraged and deeply concerned for the future of digital comics. You should be too. Shame on you, Comixology. Shame on you, Amazon. Shame on you, Jeff Bezos. And shame on you, supposed comic book fans, if you don't make your voices heard against this.
Yeah, that's some dramatic shit right there.
And see, that was my problem with it. I respect everything he's done as a comic book creator, but I'm a comic book fan, and I think from working in the internet on a day-to-day basis that this is a giant knee-jerk reaction. That anytime,
it's 100% a knee-jerk reaction.
Anytime anything happens on the internet, it's the worst thing ever. Oh my God, today Will Powers always puts it great. He'll always tweet something along the lines of, oh, so this is what we're mad about today? Like, we're always mad about something, and in a week, everyone will be accepting of the new Comixology platform.
It's just silly to put it that way in this sense. You know, I'll just put it like it is. Apple is not necessarily a ubiquitous company, right? Like, they are going to go, like, they have great computers. I have a MacBook, I have an iPhone, and I have an iPad. I'm a huge Apple consumer. But they are not an untouchable company like Amazon is. For Amazon, which is a much more secure company, and is going to be here in its status for a lot longer than Apple is going to be, to buy something like that is good for comic fans because Amazon is fucking really legit, you know, like really legit.
They're not making this. This is not a purchase. This is an investment for them, right? They clearly see that there are fans out there that are yearning for something, and the platform is not quite there yet, right? I think you're going to see an evolution of this. Yeah, that's something that we're not expecting because honestly, I think that the digital platform is probably still failing the comic book industry. Like, I don't know how. I mean, I don't know. I haven't looked at any of the statistics on it, but they're probably doing better than they were 20 years ago. But they're probably still not outrageous success like they should be.
Yeah. Wait, that's a question I have. How does this affect the creators of the comics at all?
Well, I've looked around. His Forbes letter here didn't point it out. I was over here on this other article. I've been trying to figure out what exactly the breakdown is. Comixology has not released a statement on this. They're totally just like,
should we call Linda?
Flip the file. Portillo's is being sold, ladies and gentlemen. Oh. I will kickstart us to buy that, but we will need $360 million.
We need a lot of venture capital for that.
I think we can get it.
I don't know if we can. I almost had that be my my topic, and I was gonna be like, how do we run a hot dog chain business?
I'd quit everything we do right now to run Portillo's. That's an empire.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hot dog empire.
So yeah, Greg, I'll close with just my own personal opinion saying this is not a big deal. This is actually probably a good thing ultimately for Comixology and for comic book fans and for the comic book industry. And that a company like Apple is very reliant. They make a ton of money on the App Store, no doubt, but they are reliant on new technologies. And if they don't find that new technology really soon, they're going to be a very old school Apple again because, you know, the tides are changing. They're losing market share with iPhone. They're losing market share with iPad. You know, they're making money, but you know, and they're profitable, and I wish I owned Apple stock, but their shit's not written in the stars yet. Frankly, Amazon is. People are always going to want to buy stuff. Amazon undercuts everybody. Free shipping, Amazon Prime, all this stuff. They are going to be fine. Amazon will be here in 50 years. Yeah. And, you know, they're always innovating, and they make it easy for the shopper. Amazon has been one of the best things that's happened to the American consumer ever. And, you know, so to have them, you know, they're very different than Apple. They're all about like cheapness. They're like the Walmart of the internet. You know, Apple is like, you know, the Tiffany's of the internet.
They're the high end.
Yeah, and like they're very different companies. You know,
here I have 3 things to close on for me, and they're all kind of quick. One, talking about this, Amazon's cool. I think I like Amazon. I like what they're doing.
Never had a problem with them.
They're going. You know, what if we were talking about here? Your unlimited comics, right? What if unlimited comics in the storefront came through the Amazon Kindle? And that was tied in with Comixology, and Comixology could then have the storefront there or whatever. What if they developed some kind of tablet tech for that? And I'm just putting it out there. Just chew on.
Yeah.
So wait, a tablet just for comics?
No, a Kindle that does everything that a Kindle does now, but also has the Comixology storefront and everything else you want, and they can do a subscription model where you get every image for $10. That could be really cool. And maybe that's what we were talking about, them building towards something. Maybe they could be building towards.
They might put that out.
My
Maybe it's a
iPad
$50
was
device.
bought. My iPad was bought for a comics reader.
Me too.
So if somebody comes out with a better comics reader and I can do more cool stuff with it,
Yeah,
it doesn't.
capitalism, brosif.
It doesn't atrociously load like this one.
Imagine a full, like, I know a lot of people don't like this. I know a lot of people like the backlit screen, but what if it wasn't a backlit screen that was full color and actually looked like the comic book, you know? Or they came out with a new technology that was that. I would buy that thing. And plus, because if it was Amazon, it'd be like $200 maybe max. You know, they don't sell stuff for like really expensive, which is awesome.
Number 2 on my closing things. In July 2011, Amazon made a similar change to its Kindle app, removing access to the Kindle store to comply with Apple's regulations on in-app purchases. So that's how long that's been gone.
Yeah, it'd be really
yeah,
interesting to
long
see what
than
that did for them, the business and stuff. Like, you know, because now we're looking at like, oh, whatever. I wonder how it's going to affect them. But I wonder.
Sure.
We have proof from before.
Yeah.
For a company so profitable, it's probably worth it for them to eat it and make
Right.
sure Apple doesn't get any of the money.
Right. And then the final thing is that the DC Marvel Image app, all that is run by Comixology, and that still has in-store purchasing. Our
Exactly.
good friend Little Sin tweeted a photo that was funny of my iPad Saturday, and it was just the Comixology app, and then my iPad Sunday, and it was each one of the publishers' individual apps, so that you could still purchase in app like that.
See, that's
so if it is a huge deal to you, you can still do that.
I wonder how long they're going to keep that. And if that's maybe
I
some
think-
weird deal with specifically
I think it's a
them.
weird deal with who made your app, because it's one of those things, like, obviously they're in partnerships with these people and DC Comics and everybody else. So if they were like, now we need to strip this out, and DC's like, we don't want to deal with our fans flipping out, well, company X can start carrying our comics digitally, and then Comixology would crumble.
Yeah. Man.
Let the market sort it out. If you hate it so much, don't use it.
Yeah, go to comic book shops again. I won't. I'd go back to not reading
See,
comics.
I
on a
go
weekly
to
basis.
Amazon and buy the actual physical versions.
I don't want that. I don't want that crap. I love it. I'm so sick of having crap.
See, you're a physical media kind of guy. You
am.
love that stuff.
I love it so much.
I'm super happy to read a comic book on my phone.
I can't do that. You and I have talked
You know
about that
what?
before.
You would think you couldn't do it, but
No, I know I
on
can't.
Comixology,
Yeah.
it's really cool.
No, I can't do it.
They do a really
I
good
know, and they do
job.
the panels and everything. I don't like it.
It tells
I
a
wanna see
story.
all.
It tells it in an emotion way. I think it's really cool. It's not ideal. I would
Yeah.
prefer to do it on an iPad, but if it's just me and my phone waiting somewhere for a meeting or something like that, I just pop it open. It's awesome.
Yeah, reading on iPad.
Plus, you look like
Air
you're
specifically.
You look
is
like you're
amazing.
checking email when you do it on your phone
Oh,
because you're just like this.
Yeah, you can't do that with an iPad.